Let there be light and welcome to Living Essence. Today I'm going to talk on environment, one of the most important things that you need to consider when it comes to your self-healing. Now here at Living Essence, of course, that's what we do, is we promote self-healing through energy healing remotely, or whether it be through QFT or coaching. And so there's many different methods in which we can use to encourage healing within the person. But one of the things that the person needs to do for themselves is be mindful of their environment. And so there's three aspects that we must take into consideration when it comes to the environment we're placing ourselves in. Like anything, we're much like plants. Where we are planted and the nutrients that we are receiving will be in direct relationship as to how we are flourishing in life or not flourishing. So what are the three things when it comes to your environment? Well, first of all, we must understand our conditioning. And conditioning's happening all the time, but also it has happened to this date in the past through the various places we've been and the various situations that have experienced in our life. So conditioning is a part of how we've been raised by our parents. Conditioning is also a part of the environment, the place in which we live, and the things that we do. Our work environments are also a part of our conditioning. So when we look at our conditioning, what are some of the things to consider? How we've been spoken to when we were raised, the things that were placed into us by our parents, some of the things that parents say when they not even conscious of what they're saying to a child is like, what is wrong with you? That implies there's something wrong with you. Then we go through life believing there's something wrong with us. When that program is playing in your environment, which is yourself, this thing here, when that program is placed, and if you take that on board, what is wrong with you, you begin to assume, and what's happening is the subconscious mind is always looking for what's wrong for you, what's wrong with you. Now, like anything, if you search for something, eventually you'll find it. And so if this is playing in the subconscious part of your mind, you will find something wrong with you, and then disease takes place. So we must be mindful of our conditioning. What has been said to you? Ask these questions of yourself. Maybe write it down on a piece of paper. What do you remember? Close your eyes and just allow it to come up in a moment. Don't go searching, but just see what comes up. This works very, very well. Just allow your intuition to speak to you. What are some of the things that you were told by your parents? Maybe unwittingly, they didn't mean to hurt you, but they said something that went deep into your subconscious. It may have been a teacher or a grandparent or a friend, a moment. What were those moments that have set up the environment for you that could have a running program going on? So consider these things, write those things down. What do you know has been said in your life that is maybe playing over and over again that is potentially causing a dis-ease in the body? Let's remember that. It is dis-ease. There's no ease there. So you'll know about this because when you were young, when this thing was said or projected upon you, it would have been, at the time, it would have hurt. Now those things go in and they don't always go back out. Often they don't. That program is playing in the background. So the other thing to consider when it comes to the environment is your fears. Okay, so what is it that you are, fearing in your life, and what caused the fear? Often it's trauma. So again, write down on a piece of paper the traumas that you've experienced in your life. Have you truly healed those traumas? Now, if you haven't healed those traumas, what they do is they become a part of your environment. Your environment is what you're growing in, this body. So yes, the environment, your body will hold on to the trauma as much as it will hold on to the conditioning. Your body is not separate from the brain. Think about that. So the mind is the interior body and the body is the exterior mind. They are one thing, they are connected. Where do you feel? You probably store a lot of your trauma. Well, we know this for people. We store it in the body. If someone had been jumped in the middle of the night by someone, they're walking down the street and someone jumped them and robbed them. Well, it can be weeks later when that person's lover comes up behind them and just goes to wrap their arms around them to give them a hug, and that person pounces without even thinking about it. There's a reaction there. Why? Because it's now become a part of their environment. What I mean by environment is the running program in the subconscious mind is stored in the body. So write down those things. Consider what is it? What are the traumas that I have experienced, and have I processed them? What I mean by process, you think about a processing plant. Bits and pieces come in and a certain product comes out. So whatever goes into our system, into our environment, this is the environment, it must come out or it will stay in and run as a program. So if it has not been dealt with, where you know that it's been let go, not controlled or just suppressed or repressed, that's not what we want. That keeps it within the environment, which is your body. It must be shed. And I will talk about that in another video, the 3 levels of shedding. So the other thing there is the people in your life also play a big part in the environment. So who are the people that are in your life? Are they nourishing you? Or are they draining energy from you? Or are they placing more conditioning into you? Look at the people in your life. List down the most important people, the people that you spend the most time with. And then beside those people, write down what it is that they're contributing to your life, good or bad. And this is a great review, because what you will find is we don't do this. We don't sit down and go, right, what is it that people are feeding into my life? Or, for that matter, what is it that they are taking out of my life? These people become a part of your environment. You're around them all the time. Now, like a plant, as I said before, we grow and we flourish or don't flourish dependent on our environment. So a trauma or a fear is much like having a plant in a small container. If you want that plant to really grow and flourish, you need to change the container up. What does that mean? You can't just go placing that container that it's in into a bigger container. That's not going to work. So people try that. They go, oh, I'll change my job and then I'll be happy. Or I'll get married and then I'll be happy. But they are not taking the plant, their being, the thing that's actually growing, they're not taking it out of the smaller container that's confining it and putting it into a new container. They are literally picking it up, container and all, small container and all, and putting it in a larger container. Well, that's great, but it's not going to grow past the container that's keeping it confined. So its environment actually doesn't change. Superficially, it appears to have changed. You can fill it up with soil and it can look like, why is this plant not growing? From the outside, it looks like it's changed its environment, but it hasn't. It's taken its trauma, fears, and conditioning with it. So you must drop the old container. Trauma, people, and conditioning become the containers in which you're planted in. And unless you are changing those that are keeping you confined, again, write down on a piece of paper, what's confining me and what is stunting my growth? What at the root level is stopping me from spreading my roots down further, which in turn is preventing my branches from growing out. So this is a bit of a practice for you to do. Now, of course, if you find it hard to identify those traumas, pains, and those pain points and things that have become part of your subconscious running program, if you have trouble with that, do contact us in the description below and get some QFT. QFT is a wonderful method that helps people break past trauma, pain, and conditioning. And it happens very quickly. Often one session for people, we get to the root of the matter. We can start anywhere in the conversation, but we'll always arrive at the root, because all branches, if like any plant, if you go from, you can start anywhere on a tree, anywhere on that plant, any part of that person's life, or any branch on that tree, and you can trace that down all the way down the trunk of the tree into the ground, and you can follow it. It will go, it's all connected. You go right to the root. The beautiful thing about quantum freedom therapy, which is QFT, is that we always arrive at the root of what's hindering the growth in your life. So book in for a QFT session, and then you can begin to create a new environment in your life and encourage new growth to happen and expansion. That's what we're all here to do, is to expand, grow, and learn. I'm sending everyone so much love. Do contact us at Living Essence if you would like help in any way. We are here to assist you. The link is below. Please like this video and share if you think this could be helpful for anyone else. And I will be sending you light as always.